Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this original idea of a video. Today I'll be ranking every single LEGO theme that has been released to date, and of course we're doing this in a tier list style as this is the only way you can rank LEGO themes nowadays. And of course this is all my personal opinion. I know you'll disagree with a lot of stuff on this list, but again, this is just my personal taste in LEGO themes. So as far as tiers, we have personal favorite, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier. We're going to start off with Adventures, and I'm going to say Adventures is a solid B tier theme. B tier to me is a solid theme. You know, it doesn't really do anything too groundbreaking, but it's good. You can rely on the sets. I don't have that much experience with Adventures, but from what I have seen, what I have experienced, it is a solid LEGO theme. Same for Alpha Team. I'd say Alpha Team is another solid theme. Angry Birds. Angry Birds, I'm going to say, is not wipe these from my memory, but it's a D tier. It's a D tier in my personal opinion. Now, what theme is this? Aquazone. Aquazone, I'm not a big fan of the underwater stuff, so I'm going to have to say it's a C tier. The Lego art theme, I say that's a solid theme as well. There's nothing that's really caught my eye too much. The Sith one is pretty cool, but I haven't gone out to purchase any of these just because none of them have really blown my mind just yet. Maybe once they start making some DC ones, like if they did a Superman one, or maybe a Batman one, even Joker, or some DC character, I'd probably go get it, but I'm just not into Iron Man all that much, or into the Sith to really go out of my way to get these. The world map does look pretty interesting. Next, we have Lego Atlantis, and Lego Atlantis I'm going to put as an A tier theme. I think it definitely deserves it. Atlantis is one of those themes that I have a lot of nostalgia for, just because I was growing up whenever it was released. Was it released 2010, 2011, something like that? So I would have been 9 or 10 whenever this theme released, and it's just an amazing theme looking back at it. I really missed out on a lot of these sets, like the set that's shown right here at the Atlantis Temple, if you will. I missed out on a lot of them. Did get a couple of them. I got the big ship from the first wave. I'll throw up a picture of it if I remember. But that is one of my most nostalgic LEGO sets from my childhood. So LEGO Atlantis is definitely an A tier for me. LEGO Batman movie sets. The LEGO Batman movie sets I'm going to put as an A tier. Just because they've given us a lot of figures that I don't think we ever would have gotten without that movie, like Zodiac Master, the Calculator, the Eraser. We wouldn't have gotten those in normal DC sets. So I'm really glad that LEGO put those characters, those really one-off obscure characters, into LEGO form thanks to this movie and thanks to this LEGO theme. The builds can get repetitive, especially after you built your 30th Batwing, but the minifigures alone make it an A tier in my opinion. What is this one? Belleville. Belleville I'm going to put as wipe these from my memory. It's an early predecessor to LEGO Friends. It was just another opportunity for them to compete against Barbie, and it obviously failed for them. And thus, I'm not a big fan of it. Blacktron, I do like a lot of the space stuff. But as far as space goes, I think Blacktron is a C tier for me. Brick Sketches. This, I feel like, had a lot of potential. And it's just, LEGO hasn't really been able to do it well. Both with pricing and the characters they've made so far. Like the price to part seems good to me, but the price to actual value that's there isn't. It feels like they should be $10 builds, not $20 builds or $17 builds like they are now. I'd probably compromise at like 13 or so, but definitely not worth 20 in my opinion. And I feel bad because I know the creator of that was a fan of Lego, and because of his brick sketches, he got hired on to be a designer. So I really hate to crap on a fellow fan's creation, but I just don't like the execution of it so far. Brickheadz. Brickheadz is a D tier for me. I know that will be blasphemy to a lot of people, but I just don't like Brickheadz. I don't know why. I'm not a big fan of Funko Pops either. There's like one or two that I'll get every now and then, but I'm not a huge collector of them, and thus that may explain my hatred towards Brickheadz, because I just don't like them. I got the Joker one from the Lego Batman movie just to test out Brickheadz, see if it was a theme that I liked and that was worth my time and money, and I just hated it. I took it apart for parts. That's how much I hated it. And so I don't like Brickheadz. Chima. Surprising to probably a lot of people who have watched my Ninjago video that think I hate Chima. Chima to me is a B tier theme. The show itself isn't good in my opinion. It's definitely aimed more towards the younger audience. But the sets are pretty good. When they're good, they're really good. Like the Lion G Temple, that was the biggest set I'd own whenever it released. I got it for Christmas the year it released. And just a lot of the vehicles are really interesting builds, like the Mammoth Walker, which is almost like an AT-AT Walker, if you will. So the sets themselves is actually interesting, but the TV show just didn't make me interested in the lore of the universe Lego was trying to create. So that's why Chima is a B tier for me. Lego City is a B tier as well. I know to a lot of people it's probably C or D tier, just because we get police station every other year, or every year. Same for fire sets. But a lot of people fail to realize that they aren't really a demographic Lego is going for when it comes to city sets. Most of the demographic is younger kids from ages 6 to 11 or so on. And so we aren't a demographic for those police and fire sets, but they do release interesting sets when it comes to their great vehicle line, like the ice cream truck or the ice cream van we got this year. I thought that was an interesting build. I like the popsicle sign they used for the top of the vehicle. And even though I get burnt out on a lot of the police sets, I'll still get them every now and then if they have like an interesting torso piece or an interesting hair piece or something that intrigues me, or say like there's a side build that's really interesting. Say like the burger stand build in that one fire set from I think a couple years back by now. That was the first burger joint I think we've had in Lego before. May be wrong on that, but that was a real interesting build to me. So Lego City is a B tier. Classic Space. I'm going to tick off a lot of Classic Space fans with this, but I think Classic Space is also a B tier. Just a solid theme. Nothing too special. Definitely not a personal favorite or an A tier in my opinion, but it's something you can go back to and just look at and kind of appreciate how far Lego has come from building these to, say, Lego Atlantis. Like that jump from the price, or not price, from the build quality up till that point is really interesting, especially when you compare it from like the 80s, 90s up until now. The just jump from then to now is really interesting. Lego Creator 3-in-1. Lego Creator 3-in-1 to me is an A tier. Actually, I think it might be a personal favorite. But this doesn't include the Creator Expert sets. It's like almost in between. So like high A tier, low personal favorite. I'll put in personal favorite. Just because Lego Creator, I do like the townhouses that they build and a lot of the stores they build, because if you're like me, you don't have a lot of space or say a lot of money for the big modular sets, the $40 to $50 Lego City builds or Lego Creator builds that they release is really good substitutes for making your own small Lego City, say instead of a modular Lego City. And recently what they've done with the Lego Creator theme, bringing back older concepts, say like Lego Pirates or Lego Castle, and soon Lego Vikings with Lego Creator, is just awesome. I hope they continue to do that. Maybe they'll do some classic space sets with Lego Creator, or maybe a Space Police set with Lego Creator. I highly doubt that, but that would be interesting. I definitely see more classic space with Lego Creator than Space Police, but a Lego fan can dream. Next, Lego DC Superheroes. Lego DC Superheroes is it a C tier? It's a low B tier for me. And I think I'll have to rearrange these for each tier, because I do think Superheroes is above Chima. Definitely above Lego City. But I've just been really disappointed with Lego Superheroes in the recent years. I think 2017 was the last good year for Lego DC Superheroes. Just the variety of characters and builds you get. Nowadays it's just mainly Batman stuff. Maybe the one-off movie set, like the Wonder Woman 1989 movie set. But it's just been really disappointing. Especially as a big DC fan, as you can see by my comic book collection, if I've thrown up a picture. I collect mainly DC Comics. I'm a big DC Comics fan. So just the way Lego has done the DC Comics theme has made me really disappointed in it. And I get the Lego Batman movie got a lot of attention whenever it released, so it's only fair that Marvel gets a lot of attention. But it still makes me upset at how they treat DC Superheroes. Lego Dino 2010. Lego Dino 2010 is a low B tier. I think that's fair. This was before they had the Jurassic World license, of course. So Lego did their own dinosaur Jurassic World, if you will. And I think the builds are very interesting. I got two of them. The two smaller sets. So the one with, what was it? The Gallimimus. I think that's what they called it. And then the second one with the Pteranodon. I didn't get any of the bigger sets. I wish I had gotten the T-Rex build, but then again, it was way out of my budget back whenever it released. But I think it's an interesting concept for what it was, and definitely deserves a B tier, but it's definitely below some of the themes I have on here. Lego Disney. I'm not a big fan of Disney, to be honest. And a lot of the Disney sets, say like Incredibles and the latest Toy Story sets, are 4+, so they don't really interest me as much. And thus I'm going to put it in C tier. That's just my personal opinion. I probably ticked off a lot more people with that, especially all the Disney Castle fans. I'm not a big fan of the Disney Castle. Lego Divers. Lego Divers, again with Aquazone, just another C tier. Not a big fan of the underwater stuff. Maybe it's my fear of the ocean that has to deal with that, but just not a big fan. Lego Dots. Lego Dots is another C tier theme. I'm not the demographic for it, and I understand that. The parts are interesting as a mock builder, especially a lot of the different colored tiles, like coral. I think that's the color for it. But again, the theme's just not for me. Lego Elves. Lego Elves I can respect as a theme. I'm not a big mini doll fan, but the parts and the colors that were introduced because of that theme, I think make it a B tier for me personally. Even though I'm not interested in the actual builds or universe itself, just the parts make it a low B tier for me. Exoforce. Exoforce is a personal favorite, and I grew up with a couple of these sets, but I didn't get all the ones I wanted. Now, as an adult, I'm trying to scour for them on eBay for a good deal and try to round out the collection. Unfortunately, I only have 2 at this point because I got rid of a couple whenever I was younger. So now it's just trying to get the ones that I had back and trying to build up that collection to what I want. Eventually, I'd like to own every Exoforce set. A Lego fan can dream, because I know that would be expensive, but also space in my room is very low, so if I try to go for every Exoforce set, I'm really going to be pushing things. Lego Explorians. Another C-tier theme. I don't know all too much about it, but just from the look of it, doesn't interest me all too much. Fabuland is... wipe these from my memory. It's an early predecessor to Chima, if you really think about it, with the animal characters. But there's just nothing that interests me as far as that goes. Lego Forceman, I'm a big Castle fan, and so I'm very biased because of this. I think it's a high B tier for Lego Forceman. That feels right to me. I'm tempted to put it in A, but I'm going with high B. Lego Friends. A lot like Elves, I'm not interested in the mini dolls, but the colors that they introduced, as well as even some of the builds, are interesting. So for that, I'm going to have to put it at B tier. It's a solid theme. Again, I'm not the demographic for it, but I can still respect it as a Lego theme. Galador is S tier for the memes, but it is wipe these from my memory for the actual builds, and thus I shall put it in D tier. And then we have Lego Ghostbusters. I'm not a big fan of Ghostbusters, but I do like the build. It's a very realistic fire station, and thus I can put it in B tier, just because I can respect the actual build itself, even though I'm not a fan of the universe, but I can still respect it. Same goes for Harry Potter. I'm not a fan of the in-universe stuff, but a lot of the parts that they introduce, as well as colors, is just very interesting, and I can respect it as a theme. Like, the builds still look cool, even as a non-Harry Potter fan. But yeah, it's a B tier for me. I know for a lot of people it'd probably be A tier or a personal favorite, but that's just my opinion. Hero Factory, which, if you've watched my Hero Factory, the Rise and Fall of Hero Factory video, this should not come as a surprise, but it is a personal favorite. I definitely prefer it over Bionicle, which is blasphemy to all the Bionicle fans, but it's what I grew up with. It was very late into Bionicle's life whenever I got into it. I don't know all the in-universe lore to Bionicle. I only remember the characters. And thus, whenever Hero Factory started, I was able to jump in right at the beginning and get into the universe and fall in love with the characters, as well as the builds. Because whenever you think of what Hero Factory has done for the construction mock creators, introducing all these new parts is just awesome for the theme. And of course, the actual builds still interest me. I want to do a couple more videos on Hero Factory in the future. I just need a couple more ideas at this point before I start going more into depth in Hero Factory. Lego Hidden Side. Lego Hidden Side to me is a high C tier, almost B tier theme for me. The whole app integrated thing didn't work out for Lego, and it's obvious with the sales of it, and with the theme being discontinued early. At least, what was it? Discontinued on year 2, I believe. So it didn't get the 3-year life cycle like most themes get. But the actual builds themselves were interesting. It's just the whole app integration, I feel like LEGO should have avoided. It's something they've definitely noticed with LEGO Video, but they should have noticed it with Hidden Side before going all out with Video, because that definitely backfired on them. Ice Planet 2002. Ice Planet 2002 is another C tier theme for me. Don't really care about it. The builds look alright, but it's just not for me. LEGO Ideas. LEGO Ideas can be a mixed bag. Because there's really cool sets that I like. See, like the treehouse or the medieval blacksmith that we recently got. But then there's stuff that doesn't really interest me. Say like the typewriter or the piano. That stuff is not for me, so it's really hit or miss when it comes to LEGO Ideas. But whenever LEGO Ideas is really good, it's just amazing. So I think high B tier. And again, I'm going to fix all this later to rearrange stuff. Because I definitely think Harry Potter should be higher. LEGO Indiana Jones. LEGO Indiana Jones is another B tier theme. I respect the theme for what it did at its time. I'm not a big fan of Indiana Jones, as you could probably tell by where Adventures is, since Adventures is basically Indiana Jones. But I'm just not interested in the universe. But I can still respect the builds and what it did for its time, unless it's a B tier. Jack Stone. Jack Stone is... Wipe these from my memory. How many more do we have? We have quite a bit more to go, so I'm going to start blazing through these as fast as possible. LEGO Jurassic World. LEGO Jurassic World, when it's good, it's really good, but when it's bad, it's really bad. And thus, I'm going to go with a high B tier for LEGO Jurassic World. Lion Knights is another B tier theme for me. Again, I'm a big castle fan, so it only makes sense that I'd put Lion Knights in B tier. The Lone Ranger. Lone Ranger, to me, is in an A tier. I'm stuck between B or A since it's been a while since we've got any LEGO Western stuff. And it's been a while since the Lone Ranger released. I think it was 2012 whenever those sets released. And I'm a big fan of the LEGO Western stuff. I missed out on it because it was created before my time. And so the Lone Ranger was my introduction to LEGO Western stuff, if you will. And so I am a fan of it. But I think it's a high B tier for me personally. LEGO The Lord of the Rings is an A tier. The builds in that theme were just fantastic. The figures were fantastic for their time. I'm a big medieval fan, of course, so being a big Lord of the Rings fan goes hand in hand as well. And just the LEGO sets were phenomenal in that theme. And I really think it's an A tier theme. Almost personal favorite, but not quite there. What's this? Mars Mission. Mars Mission is high C tier. There's not too many builds that interest me as far as that theme goes. But whenever it's good, it's really okay, in my opinion. But yeah, just not too much to interest me as far as that theme goes. So it's a high C tier, low B tier for me. LEGO Marvel Superheroes. Even though I'm more of a LEGO DC or a DC Comics fan, I think LEGO Marvel Superheroes has been killing it, especially recently with LEGO Avengers video game sets. Say what you want about the video game, the actual sets have been pretty good. The only one I'm disappointed with is the Helicarrier, but, I mean, It's a $120 helicarrier. I think that's how much it is. Maybe a little bit more. So it's not as big as the previous helicarrier was, but for what it did, I think it was alright. And of course, the LEGO Daily Bugle set is just awesome. I mean, all the figures you get in it, Black Cat, Punisher, Daredevil, characters I never thought we'd see in LEGO finally are in a LEGO set thanks to the Daily Bugle. And just all the new Spider-Man villains we get in it as well. Just the new versions are really interesting. I just think it's been crushing LEGO DC superheroes as far as LEGO superhero themes go. Yeah, it's just really good, in my opinion. Where did I put LEGO DC superheroes? Did I move it off somewhere? I can't see it now. Oh, there it is. LEGO Minecraft. LEGO Minecraft, to me, is high B tier, almost A tier, in my opinion. I don't like the build boxes. Those are the only sets I don't really like when it comes to LEGO Minecraft, but a lot of the $20 sets are really good. Like the bee farm, the wool farm, the panda build. They kill it with the $20 sets. And the bigger sets, they can be hit or miss as far as pricing goes and as far as build goes. Like the recent, Modern Treehouse build is an absolute miss for me personally. But the Creeper Mine was an awesome build. The D2C set, the one LEGO Minecraft D2C set, $350 for that big mountain, was really cool whenever it released. Of course, I missed out on it because of how much it cost. But if I had the chance to get it now, I probably would, just because of how awesome it is. LEGO Minifigures. LEGO Minifigures is a solid B tier for me. LEGO Minifigures can be hit or miss depending on, of course, the characters and what it's based off of. Like the licensed ones can be hit or miss. Say like the DC superheroes, CMF packs. Some characters I didn't like, while some were awesome to get in LEGO form. Finally, like Huntress, Stargirl, Jay Garrick, those were all really cool characters to get in LEGO. Whereas, kind of disappointed with Rebirth Superman and the old Teen Titans Cyborg. Those I weren't too interested in. So it's really hit or miss when it comes to LEGO minifigures, but I think it's a solid B tier overall. LEGO Minions is a D tier, just because I'm not interested, and I'm definitely not the demographic for that. Same goes for LEGO Mixels, and we still have a lot more to go. LEGO Modulars is a solid A tier. When LEGO Modulars are good, they're really good. I keep saying that for a lot of themes, but I mean, it's just true. I think the modular police station was released at a bad time, but now it's a really good looking build in my opinion. It works out as a LEGO GCPD if you wanted to. And a lot of the previous modulars I wish I would have gotten, say like the Parisian restaurant or the pet shop, those were ones I wanted whenever I was younger, but I missed out on because they were out of my price range at that time. But LEGO Modulars is a solid A tier. Monkey Kid. Monkey Kid is a solid B tier, in my opinion. I didn't like the way it started out, where they didn't have any cheaper sets. I think the cheapest was it $40 for the first wave? They didn't have any $10 or $20 sets, which I think was a huge mistake for that theme. Because if you cut out the $10 to $20 range, you're cutting out an audience pretty much. You're cutting out the people who can't really afford to buy the higher end sets. Even the $40 sets can be higher end to some people. Say like it's a kid who works for his allowance and stuff, and can only save like $5 a week or something, or $5 every 2 weeks. You know, so that's kind of asking a lot of that audience, if you will. But I don't think that should be held against Monkey Kid all too much, because the sets are interesting, the ones I've looked at. Say like the giant cargo ship, I was really interested to get that, just to modify it and really tone it down to be like a Fallout ship. Say like there's this scene in Fallout 4 that I looked at in like an IGN scene all the time when I was younger. It just showed this cargo ship, if you will, that was underneath a bridge. And I just had the thought of redoing that Monkey Kid set to tone down the colors and make it into like a Fallout universe ship, if you will. But Monkey Kid is definitely a B tier for me. Monster Fighters is another B tier theme. I have a lot of B tiers here. I feel like some of these may need to move down. Maybe. We'll see. Lego Movie, original Lego Movie is an A tier, but Lego Movie 2 is a B tier. The original Lego Movie sets just killed it, and it may be nostalgia that's really hindering the second Lego Movie 2 sets, my nostalgia for the first Lego Movie, but those sets were really good, and I think the movie just kind of helped those sets as well. After seeing it, you know, I wanted to get the Lego Movie sets, whereas after seeing the Lego Movie 2, I wasn't all too interested in a lot of the sets from that theme. And so the original Lego Movie is definitely higher than the Lego Movie 2. Mtron, I think Mtron should go with Blacktron. Not too interested by the color scheme, but I think Blacktron is higher than Mtron, in my opinion. I definitely like the black and yellow color scheme more. Nexo Knights. Nexo Knights is a C tier for me. I think when Nexo Knights released, myself and a lot of other LEGO fans were wanting original castle, and not this castle that's mixed with space. And so I think that really hindered Nexo Knights whenever it released. The minifigures are interesting, but the actual builds and concept itself really falls apart, in my opinion. And I know that's probably going to trigger a lot of Nexo Knights fans, but I'm just not interested in it all too much. The Lego Ninjago movie is A tier for the sets. Those sets were killer whenever they released. All of them. Do I say all or most of the sets were amazing, especially the price per piece. Just amazed by that theme. I really think it dunks on a lot of the themes down here, especially that Destiny's Bounty set. I wish I had gotten that, because that is like one of the best, if not the best, Ninjago sets ever released. That is just amazing. And the Lego Ninjago is an A tier as well. I fell off Ninjago after, I think it was the Ghost season. I don't know what season number that would be, given how many seasons there are now. But I still look at the sets every now and then. And I do have a lot of nostalgia for the original sets with the skeletons, and then the sets with the serpents. But Ninjago is just a really good theme overall. Lego Overwatch. Lego Overwatch is a C tier. I don't like the game myself. I never got into Overwatch, and thus I'm just not interested in the sets. Paradisa is a B tier. Lego Pirates of the Caribbean is a B tier. Yeah, I'm just gonna blast through all of these because this is getting to be too long now. Alright, so this is every Lego theme rated. I have all of them sorted out. I've yet to do it in order, but I think that's just going to be too time consuming, so I'm just going to read over them real quick. So we have personal favorites, Creator 3-in-1, Exoforce, Hero Factory, Space Police, Kingdoms, Speed Champions, and Creator Cars. In A tier, there's Atlantis, the Lego Batman movie, Lego Lord of the Rings, Lego Marvel Superheroes, the Lego Modulars, the Lego Movie, the Lego Ninjago movie, Lego Scooby-Doo, Lego Ninjago, Lego Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original Bionicle, Lego Vikings, Lego's Pharaoh Quest, Lego Creator Winter Village, Lego Creator Amusement Rides, and Lego Pirates. In B tier, there's Lego Technic, Lego Racers, Lego Minecraft, Lego Forestman, Lego Jurassic World, Lego Lion Knights, Lego The Lone Ranger, Lego Ideas, Lego Adventurers, Lego Alpha Team, Lego Art, Lego Minifigures, Lego Monkey Kid, Lego The Legends of Chima, Lego Star Wars. I know that one's going to tick off a lot of people, but I still hold that opinion. The Lego Movie 2, Monster Fighters, Power Miners, Prince of Persia, Pirates of the Caribbean, Lego City, Classic Space, Alien Conquest, Lego DC Superheroes, Lego Dino 2010, Toy Story, Lego Elves, Lego Friends, Lego Ghostbusters, Lego Harry Potter, Lego Indiana Jones, Lego Paradisa, Lego The Simpsons, Lego Agents, Lego SpongeBob SquarePants, Lego Sports, Lego Studios, Lego Super Mario, Lego Architecture, Cars, Lego Mindstorms, Chinese New Year. Then in C tier we have Hidden Side, Island Extreme, Nemo Knights, Mars Mission, Blacktron, M-Tron, Aquazone, Divers, Lego Disney, Dots, Ice Planet 2002, Explorians, Overwatch, Speed Racer, Spyrus, Unitron. In D tier, we have Angry Birds, Brick Sketches, Brickheadz, Galador, Minions, Mixels, Rock Raiders, Knight's Kingdom, Disney Princess, Time Cruisers. And in Wipe These From My Memory, we have Belleville, Fabuland, Jackstone, Trolls, Video, Ben 10, Unikitty, and Scala. Man, that was a long list. I know I've ticked off a lot of people with this list, especially Lego Star Wars fans. But like I said, when I was counting all these themes, I still hold that opinion. Lego Star Wars can be overpriced, but whenever it's good, it's really good. I need another phrase instead of when it's good, it's really good, but that does explain Lego Star Wars. When it's bad, it's really bad. When it's good, it's really good. I don't have a whole lot of nostalgia for it, like a lot of people do when it comes to growing up with the Clone Wars movies or with the prequels and that theme. I just don't have that nostalgia factor. My nostalgia factor comes for the 2010 sets. I think that's the right year. I mainly know them by the characters on the box, so it was whenever Captain Rex was on the Lego boxes. That's as far as my nostalgia goes with Lego Star Wars. That wave was my personal favorite, and I don't know. I think it's still a B tier. Definitely a high B tier if I had to rearrange everything. I think it'd be below Minecraft, Racers, and Technic. I feel solid about that, but yeah, I didn't go through and rearrange all this because it would just take too long, but I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment your favorite LEGO themes and how you would arrange this list. I know there's a lot of themes in this, so just comment your personal favorites if you don't have the time for it. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.